Hey guys, what is up? Lefty back here again, and thanks for checking out the video. I've been trying to start this video for some time now and just can't seem to get a flow on it, so 6 times the charm, right? This video brought to you by Ghost, not really, but it could be. So anyway, for people that don't know, if you're living under a rock or just gone on a week-long meditation or something like that, you just haven't been seeing what's going on in the Middle East and the world in totality. It seems like everything is starting to fall down around us everywhere all at once. And I'm not exactly sure what happens. All I know is that I think it's a good idea to get everything in order if you guys don't already. So, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people, if you go on YouTube right now, a lot of people are kind of just making videos like, yo, bro, you need to get a helmet, you need to make sure it's ballistic, you need to get nods, you need to get armor, ammo, meds, water, food, all this stuff. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know why now is the time you're doing all that shit. I mean, granted, there are always new people, you know, it's just like whatever. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, and sometimes people get caught up, and now they are literally starting right now, which would suck. Unless you are financially set for life, I don't know how the hell anybody would be able to do that and still live normally. It would just be quite challenging to do something like that. So this video is not any of that stuff, though. I'm not telling you to go buy that stuff, because honestly, you should have it. Again, there are people that are literally starting from scratch because, you know, it's just kind of the way things are. Everybody has to start at some point somewhere. But what I think most people should do now is probably, if you're watching my videos and if you're watching kind of gun stuff on YouTube in general, most likely you already have a good amount of stuff. You don't need any more of this stuff. You don't need any more rifles. You probably always need more ammo and stuff like that. But you're probably good with what you got. You don't need any new fancy plate carriers and all that fun stuff and chest rigs and tactical high-speed shit. What you got is probably good. And if you don't have any of that stuff and you feel like you need it, then, you know, by all means, go get it. I'm not sure why it took you this long to get some of that stuff, but I know shit happens, life happens. Finances are not always available for that kind of stuff. But this video is mainly focused on whatever you got, make sure it's ready to go. So me personally, and I know everybody has this as we get older, our clothes start to shrink. You know, our chest rigs start to shrink in size. It's just made of the material. That's my dad joke for the video. But no, I went back to most of my kit. I went to my belt kit. I went to my chest rig. I went to my plate carrier setup. And I kind of just resized everything because it wasn't the same size as I was about 5 years ago. You know, like I said, things got smaller. Now, what am I doing personally besides all of that? Honestly, have I been changing my life a little bit? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've never carried a truck gun. I mean, that's not entirely true. I did carry it a little bit, but not in the same capacity as what I'm doing now. I only have to go into the office about once a week, but it is in a shitty part of Minnesota. It's in a northern suburb of Minneapolis. Whether it's just simple rioting, looting, crazy assholes doing stupid shit, or it's some sort of crazier fantasy kind of stuff, I just want to have a little bit more stuff available to me in case the need arises. So what I've been doing is I'm taking a little bit more stuff. It's not anything I would say excessive, but if shit actually pops off, I want that stuff, sort of thing. So I got a rifle and I got some other things to help the rifle, so to speak. I don't exactly live that far from my work. It takes me about 30 minutes to drive there. To get home, it would take quite amount of time. I mean, about 6 or so hours. Is that a long way? Yeah, that is a long way. If I had to walk, if roads were blocked and all that stuff was in the way, you know, I could do it. It would suck ass, but you know, if the situation arises where I actually have to walk home because I cannot drive home because shit's going on the streets, it's gonna suck regardless. And this is what I'm talking about, sort of too, going off of that. In my mind, I always wanted like a smaller, I would say, I guess if you want to put it in these terms, like an EDC chest rig, something a little bit smaller, maybe 2 to 3 mags, you know, a little bit here, a little medical, blah, blah, blah. And then I started thinking like, you know, if shit actually goes down, and I'm actually going to put on a chest rig because shit is that bad. I don't want just 2 or 3 mags. I want like a full, at least 4, you know, just for my brain. Because everybody's like, well, it's not going to be that bad. If it is bad enough to put on a chest rig, I want as much ammo as I possibly can. I'm not going to do double stack, you know, actual like recon chest rig kind of shit. I think that you're getting a little bit too much into that. I'm not going to go into a fight, but if a fight is there, I want a little bit more than just 1 or 2 reloads. So I've been kind of reevaluating everything with that. And I've also changed up my style a little bit in terms of how often I'm kind of adding to my supply, if you will. Usually on the weekends or so, I also work a second job where I do make some tip money. I take a little bit of the tips and I go buy some canned foods, or I basically buy food, water, that kind of stuff, and just kind of add a small supply to the stockpile. With the way finances are, I know people can probably drop, $200-300 or more on that fucking dried food kind of stuff, and it's just like, I already got a decent amount of that stuff. I don't need to have a huge chunk of my paycheck going for that, so I like to use a little bit here and there and just kind of add to it as I go. For me, that's a little bit more financially viable, and it just makes a little bit more sense in my predicament. But nevertheless, these are just sort of the little things that I've been kind of doing. I've also added just a little bit more stuff to the car. Like I said, in the event I need to actually get home and it cannot drive the piece of shit because it is getting a little bit whatever. Nevertheless, these are just some little things that I've been kind of playing with and just kind of adjusting as time goes and as things kind of are starting to escalate at the moment. I feel like we've kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. It's not escalating as fast as it was in those first few days. And I'm happy. I hope this shit in the Middle East, everybody that needs to get killed gets killed, and everybody just kind of cools down and nothing actually escalates any further. I'm just looking at it from my point of view, what they were able to do in Israel, a country that is, raised up on high because of all the technology and military resources they have and surveillance and all that shit. And they are surrounded by people that hates their ass, and yet that shit was able to happen to them. So I'm just kind of taking that and extrapolating it to middle America, or just America in general. Everybody is all high on their fucking own shit. And then they don't even conceive that the idea of this stuff could happen here. I don't know. Personally, I'm just not going to get caught with my pants down. Granted, you still can, regardless of how much you train and how much shit you got. You can still get clapped pretty fucking easy. You're not the main character, is my point. For what it's worth, I want to be a resource to not only my community, but also my family as well, in case need be. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. But if things do not settle down a little bit, I think it's very easily to kind of further extrapolate and see where things can go in terms of the Middle East, in terms of Ukraine, in terms of Taiwan. Things can get pulled very quickly, and people can get pushed into shit that, easily tosses us into kind of a global catastrophe. Not necessarily nuclear war, but definitely people fighting people kind of everywhere and anywhere. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. I'm trying to make more videos. I have a few more shorts and stuff coming up on that. Not a lot of gear reviews, as I'm just kind of, honestly, like I said, working on the shit that I got. And that's what I would, again, reiterate to everybody watching this on the other side of the screen, is to make sure that whatever you got is probably good enough. Just make sure it's working for you now. If you haven't put it on in a while, try it on. You may need to adjust some shit. To be honest, haven't put on that plate carrier in a long time, at least my ready plate carrier. I have another one that's more of a dry practice plate carrier where it's steel armor, because I'm never using steel in a fight. Sorry, I'm just not doing it. If you want to, go for it. I just like it because it's heavier. If I can move and run in a heavier plate carrier compared to my actual loadout, and get used to that weight and be, oh wow, this is much lighter. I like that for training. And then I wear that out and I don't wear out my actual ready plate carrier for all that shit. But anyway, this is just details. I'm just sort of rambling at this point. Through line, get your shit. If you don't got it, the shit that you got is probably good enough anyway, and then just make sure that everything's ready to go in case shit happens. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you want to support the channel, shit's down below. Then yeah, I guess we'll go from there. Thank you guys for watching. Be good.